and they suffered and will suffer more from the mismanagement of COVID than they will from the exposure to COVID. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
I got into this race because I got mad. COVID really woke me up. My daughter and son were both in high school. The school shuts down. They keep telling us, oh, they're going to bring us back, they're going to bring us back. They never do. Meanwhile, early on, I was standing outside on my street corner with my sign that said, stop the COVID craziness, let's get back to work. The cure is worse than the problem. I really couldn't believe what was happening in our country.
COVID hits 10 years later, and the same agencies that knew that are the agencies that shut down the schools for 2 years. Who does that? Who takes away the support system for these children? Who takes them away and shuts it down?
We go through the summer and I say, you know what, I'm pulling her out of school. Forget it, I'm not going to play this game. So I send her to a wrestling camp out of state, and she meets a friend, and it catapults her into the #1 girls wrestling school in the country. Now, she was in a great place, so I was really happy about that. But back at home, the kids are still out of school, they're masking them, and they're actually talking about forced COVID vaccines. And I couldn't let this happen, and I stood up. I went to the Marin County Board of Education meetings, I went to NUSD school board meetings, I co-organized mass anti-COVID mandate protests, and some of them even went national. Parents all over the country were realizing what their kids were learning. Critical racist theory, radical gender ideology. And I just didn't want this to infest our schools.
I'm saying it was the safest group. They were the less vulnerable group, and they suffered and will suffer more from the mismanagement of COVID than they will from the exposure to COVID. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact.